Oh my gosh, maybe it's because I'm hungry. Maybe it's gas. Guys, I started craving those green mangoes. What's up everyone? Welcome back to our channel. So from the title of this video, you already know I'm here to give you a story about how I didn't know I was pregnant, or why I didn't know I was pregnant. So in order for me to do so, I'm going to give you a backstory as to why I didn't know. So it was the summer of 2016. I had my family reunion. I had gained some weight, and like most of us, when I gain weight, it goes straight to my stomach. Anyways, at these things, you always have this one family member that makes it their business to ask, what are you doing with your life? Why aren't you married yet? When are you gonna have kids? And so this person came up to me and she was like, when are you gonna give your mom a grandchild? And she looked down on my stomach and she's like, oh, you already started. And I was like, oh my God, I just wanted to disappear. Later that night, a cousin said to me, we were all hanging out as girls in the den, and she said to me, oh, I hope you're not going to eat anything for the rest of the night because you really don't need to. And she looked at my stomach and I was like, oh my gosh. So I went into my mom's room and I cried, and she said to me, if this bothers you so much, why don't you do something about it? So I did just that. I started working out and I started dieting. I lost 25 pounds and 6 inches from my waist. And then one day I realized I felt a cramp in my stomach, in my lower abdomen. And I was like, oh great, my period is here. And guys, I normally have like really terrible cramps. So I was like, oh my gosh, my period is here. But then it wasn't. Like a day or two passed and there was no period. I was like, huh. But I still wasn't thinking anything. So I was going about my business, working out and dieting and feeling good about myself. My self-esteem went through the roof. And then I realized my boobs are like swollen and tender. Like, huh, maybe my period is really coming this time. And then I was there still dieting, working out, and no period. I usually don't have a regular cycle, so me skipping a month or two was normal for me. So I still wasn't thinking that, hey, you could be pregnant. So I was still there doing my thing, and then I noticed like I gained a few pounds, and I was like, huh. Because by that time I was trying to wean myself off the diet. It was a liquid diet, so I was trying to wean myself off the diet and start to eat food again. And I was like, huh, maybe that's why I gained some weight, because I started eating again, So I went back on the diet because I was like, maybe I need to lose a little bit more than I need to. So when I start gaining back the weight, it's not more than I'd want. Guys, I started feeling constipated. I was like, maybe I need to eat more roughage. So I started eating roughage, and then after that I was like, my skin started breaking out. I even ended up at a dermatologist to get this rectified. And I still wasn't thinking that, girl, you could be pregnant. You could be pregnant. So I remember I went on a job interview after that. No, before that, I realized I was peeing a lot more. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's because, it's around Christmas time, it's cooler, and I'm drinking a lot of water, so maybe that's the reason I'm peeing a lot. So all those signs have been pushing off as something else, right? So the cramps, I felt like it was my period. The swollen boob, I also felt like my period was about to be here. The frequent urination, I passed it off as me like drinking a lot of water. So, and then the constipation, I was like, I need to eat more roughage. Fine. So I remember going to a job interview a Thursday, and I was there for a while, like almost the entire day. I didn't eat anything, and I felt really sick. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe it's because I'm hungry. And that was a Thursday. But then it was the same Sunday, my mother-in-law, she wanted me to accompany her to an event. So the Sunday morning we were late, and I was having breakfast. I just cut and swallowed because we were so late. On our way to the event, I got sick. I was so nauseous, like super nauseous. And it was my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, a neighbor, and my uncle-in-law, all of us in the car. And they were laughing and they were teasing me like, girl, you're pregnant. I'm like, no. I think it's because I just ate my food too fast. That's the reason I'm feeling like this. And guys, so in the back of the car was me, my mother-in-law, and my neighbor, all ladies. And then my father-in-law was driving and my uncle-in-law in the front. Guys, I was wearing a waist trainer. I pushed my hand under my dress and took that bad boy off because I was dying. So on our way to the event, the road was pretty bad. So yes, I was pretty sick the entire way. My neighbor felt so sorry for me. She gave me a mint. That wasn't working. So we got to the event and I had my bottle of water the entire time, and I did not take a sip because I did not want to like keep going back and forth to the bathroom. So I was sick basically the whole time. And so when the event was through, my neighbor, she went to the bathroom and she came back and she was like, I saw this mango tree at the back of the building, and wow, those mangoes are big and juicy, but they were green. Guys, I started craving those green mangoes, and everyone was like looking at each other and they were laughing. They were like, you're knocked up. And I was like, no, why would you say that? Like, I've been eating green mangoes with salt and pepper since I was a child. There's no way. Like, what? So the following day, I got up and I was so sick. I was nauseous the whole time. I practically laid in bed for half the morning. That was the Monday. The Tuesday, it was the same thing. And I was like, maybe it's gas. Like, maybe it's gas. I don't know. So Wednesday morning, it was the same thing, and I was like, I've never felt this feeling before. What the hell is going on? So Thursday, I had an appointment to get my hair braided. I was like, oh my gosh. I went to the salon and I was like, this was me. Like, I was so out of it. The hairdresser was like, girl, what's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel good. And as soon as I got my hair done, I just went around the corner to the pharmacy and I got a pregnancy test. I went into the pharmacy and I couldn't even stand up to order the pregnancy test. I had my face down on the counter, and as soon as I got home, I came straight into the house with my shoes, my handbag, everything. I just went straight into the bathroom and took the test. Guys, when I took the test, granted, I've taken so many tests over the year because, as I said, my period is very irregular. So, you know, when I took the test, I was like, this is gonna say it's negative again, and now I'm going to end up at the doctor to figure out what the hell is wrong with me. Guys, when I looked at the test and I saw those two lines, I was like, oh my God. I sat there on the toilet and I cried. I was in shock. I was in disbelief. I was like, what the hell? Like, am I pregnant? And so I wanted to wait until Casey got home to tell him what's going on, but I couldn't because that was like maybe 12 noon, between 12 and 1 o'clock, and Casey wouldn't be home until like maybe 6, 7 o'clock, and I couldn't even wait. So I called him. No, I texted him and I said, I'm pregnant. And he's like, are you sure? So I took the test and he's like, you're sure? So I sent him a picture of the test and the package to state like what the two lines meant. And I think he was in shock too because I didn't hear from him. Like, he didn't respond until he came home. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I came out and I showed it to my mother-in-law, and she just came and she hugged me, guys. She didn't even say anything. She just hugged me. And then when Quasi came home, he was like, oh my gosh, are you sure? I showed him the test and he's still asking me, are you sure? I'm like, that's what the test said. So the following week we went to the doctor, and before I tell you about the doctor, my mother-in-law, she would be like, why are you not excited? Like, I feel like I'm even more excited than you are. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get my hopes up. Like, it could be a false positive. I don't know. And so I was like, I'm going to wait until I get to the doctor. And guys, when I went to the doctor, and you know, they always ask when's your last period, and when I told him, he was like, oh, did you take a test? I was like, yes. And so when he did the ultrasound, I saw this little thing just flickering, and oh my gosh, when I saw it, I was like, what? So I was like, what, doctor? Like, am I pregnant? Like, am I really pregnant? Am I? Chris was like, are you blind? Like, what do you think? Like, don't you see that's a baby? And the doctor was like, trying very hard not to laugh. But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. So guys, looking back, I don't think I was in denial because I was married for like 5 years and I never got pregnant, you know. So it's not like I was in denial. I just didn't think that, you know, that could be the reason why I was experiencing all those symptoms. Guys, I was 8 weeks and a day. Imagine, I was 8 weeks and a day. So that's the story about me not knowing I was pregnant. Stay tuned for part 2, my labor and delivery story. You won't want to miss that. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.